Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of our article on Fabergé eggs. I'm Kat.
I'm Elsie.
And we are talking about these very, very fancy, almost Easter egg kind of things.
We're going to talk more about these eggs.
Yeah.
So, what did we learn yesterday?
Well, we learned about the history of the Fabergé family. It was this Russian jeweler who created more than 52 of these beautiful, unique works of art, which are these eggs that are decorated with jewels and gold and precious metals and other materials like ivory.
Yeah.
And they hide surprises inside them.
Right, and that's why they're so expensive and so precious.
Yeah, that's right. And 52 of them were created for the imperial family of Russia. So we had these 52 imperial ones. We talked about one of them, which had like a little chicken inside.
Oh, it's called the first hen.
The first hen, that's right.
And you can really see a hen in it.
Yeah, a hen and the imperial crown of Russia back then. So we're actually going to talk today about a couple more of the very, very famous Fabergé eggs because there are some that are well known enough that probably a lot of people in the world have seen pictures of them. So why don't we go to the article and let's find out more about a couple of these famous Fabergé eggs.
Reading.
Fabergé eggs, wonderful art from Russia's past. Let's take a look at a couple of the more famous Fabergé eggs. The imperial coronation egg was made in 1897 to celebrate Tsarina Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna. The egg is made of gold. Its pattern looks like the robe that the Tsarina wore when she was crowned. Inside the egg is a tiny model of the coach that took the Tsarina to her coronation. It's less than 100 millimeters long and has wheels that really move and doors that really open. It also has diamonds and jewels on it. The cockerel egg clock was made in 1900. It seems to have been inspired by Genevan singing bird boxes from the early 19th century. When you press a button on the egg clock, a lid opens and a little rooster pops out. It crows, flaps its wings, and goes back inside. The egg is violet in color, and the clock face is made of fancy materials. These are just a few of the imperial eggs that were made. Each one is a masterpiece of art and craftsmanship.
All right, our article starts off by right away saying, let's take a look at a couple of the more famous Fabergé eggs.
A couple of something 代表是几个，那通常指的是两个。
That's right. So a couple is usually two people or two things. So we'd say a couple.
一对一双一组的都是两个。
That's right. So what is the first one we're looking at? The imperial coronation egg was made in 1897 to celebrate Tsarina Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna. So coronation is the day that somebody gets crowned. So that would have been like when she became the empress, I suppose. So the Tsarina is the name for basically the queen in Russia, the empress. She's the wife of the Tsar. So the Tsar is the male, the Tsarina is the female.
OK， 然后我们还看到这个字是 coronation， 名词指的是国王或是女王的加冕典礼。So that name must be Russian, right? And how can you pronounce it so perfectly?
I mean, I don't know. Russian names are a little bit similar to other Western names. And I think her last name, Fyodorovna, is like Theodore almost.
Fyodorovna.
Yeah, it's very romantic sounding. Yeah. So what does the egg look like? The egg is made of gold. Its pattern looks like the robe that the Tsarina wore when she was crowned. So she was wearing a robe. And of course, this makes sense. When kings and queens are crowned, they wear a robe. It's a long, loose piece of clothing that's worn on top of other clothes to show that someone has a high rank or an important job. You might be familiar with the robes of the English kings and queens, where they have a red velvet robe with white and black fur around the edge. It's very beautiful and very long. Hers is probably kind of similar, but she had a pattern on it, and probably that pattern was on the egg that she got for her coronation. So for another example, the priest wears white robes with beautiful decorations whenever he is at church.
Yeah.Robe 在我们的课文当中指的是重要人物在正式场合当中穿的礼服、袍服，所以在国王或女王的加冕典礼上面，你都会看到他们穿 robe。那其实 robe 在我们的生活当中也很常见哦。Night robes 指的就是我们穿去睡觉的睡袍。那这边呢，在课文当中、句子当中还有一个文法的重点就是先行词礼服 the robe 本身是不够明确的，所以后方需要用 that 带领出一个关系子句，进一步描述是沙皇皇后在加冕典礼上面穿的。
So she was wearing a robe, and the egg looks like that robe, and it's made out of gold. What's inside? If you open it up, inside the egg is a tiny model of the coach that took the Tsarina to her coronation. That's adorable. A coach is basically what they used before cars. It's a large four-wheeled vehicle that's pulled by horses. And they also call it a carriage. So a carriage would be very finely decorated. It has these really big wheels. And it probably, if you've seen Cinderella, the coach or carriage is what Cinderella rides to the party in. And that's something like that is what took the Tsarina to her coronation. And that's what they put in the egg. Now, a more modern kind of coach is talking about like a large bus that you take on long trips. So like if you're going to go to Ilan, you will catch a coach bus to go to Ilan, something like that. But we're talking now about a horse-drawn carriage or coach. So for example, the newly married couple were taken through the park in a coach drawn by two white horses.
Wow, how romantic it is.
Very.
那 coach 指的就是呢，古时候旧时候用的马车，当然也可以用 carriage 这个字。
All right. So this egg is this egg, not the egg, the coach inside the egg is less than 100 millimeters long and has wheels that really move and doors that really open. Oh, it's like a little really, really expensive toy.
所以它非常非常的小，只有100 millimeters. Millimeter 指的是公厘。那里面你看到的 meter, M-E-T-E-R 指的就是公尺。那如果你在前面加上 center, C-E-N-T-I 再加上 meter, centimeter 就是公分。
So basically it's about 10 centimeters.
Yes.
That's not very big at all and
10 公
amazing
分
the
的马
detail.
车。
Yeah, little tiny coach. It also has diamonds and jewels on it. Of course it does. A jewel and diamonds. Diamonds are these white stones. Jewels in general are a valuable stone. A diamond is a kind of jewel. Rubies, which are a red stone, they are a kind of jewel. And usually a jewel has been cut and polished so that it's very sparkly.
所以 jewel 指的是宝石，那 jewelry 指的就是首饰珠宝，好，是个总称。那 jeweler 我们也有讲过，好，就是一个珠宝商。
So that's what we've got about that first one. Now we're going to move on to the next egg. The cockerel egg clock was made in 1900. It seems to have been inspired by Genevan singing bird boxes from the early 19th century. So that's got a little bit of explanation behind it. You ever seen a cuckoo clock? So it's a clock that you, when the hour strikes, a little bird comes out of it. And it goes cuckoo, 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 like that.
So I guess a bird will come out from this egg.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Or maybe it has just that kind of clock inside. But it says it's an egg clock, so I guess there must be a clock on it. And it was inspired by Genevan bird boxes, or singing bird boxes, which is from Switzerland. So I guess it's from a different part of Europe that the idea for this came from. But in this sentence, we have our language in focus. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now.
今天的 language in focus 我们要讲到的是 seem 的用法。那动词 seem 它的意思呢是好像、似乎，表示对某事的推测。那它是一个连缀动词哦。那以下呢我们要讲到的是常见的用法。第一个 seem 后面加上形容词，或者是 seem 后面加上 like 以及一个名词。那如果你是直接加上形容词或是名词当做主词补语的时候，你在说明的是主词的状态。 那接名词的时候呢，前方加上介系词 like 表示像点点点。So for example, school seems difficult for Michael. No wonder he's stressed out. 学校课业对 Michael 来说似乎很难，难怪他压力这么大。那这个例句里头呢，就是在 seems 后面直接加上一个形容词 difficult。那另外一个用法呢，也就是第二种，主词加上 seem 加上 to 以及一个原形动词，或者是 it seems that 加上主词动词。So for example, Rob seems to be absent-minded today. Is everything okay with him? 那这一句呢，我们也可以用这样子的说法 It seems that Rob is absent-minded today. Is everything okay with him? 好，接着回到课文当中，我们还看到了一个动词是 inspire 启发。
All right, so this egg clock with a cockerel, which is like a male chicken, a rooster, is inspired by Genevan things, and it's got a clock. When you press a button on the egg clock, a lid opens and a little rooster pops out. Aw, that's really cute. So you press a button. Now, when you have a button, of course, usually you gotta press it. To press means to push something with your finger or hand, and you usually kind of gotta push it kind of steadily. Like you push buttons or you push levers on a machine, and something will happen when you do that. So for an example, you could say, if you need help from one of the airplane staff, please press the button over your head.Press 在这边是按或压的动作，也可以说是 push， 所以按钮，好，按按钮，那就是 press a button 或者是 push a button。And usually we say press when it's a little more formal situation instead of push. Right. So what does the rooster do when it pops out? It crows, flaps its wings, and goes back inside.
How cute.
I know, that's very cute. It's just like the cuckoo clocks. It crows. Now, a crow you might know as this big black bird that's really smart, but in this case, it's a verb, and it's actually what roosters do when they make their sound. That's the loud, high sound that a rooster makes, or it's a similar sound. So, yeah, I think roosters crow. There might be some other birds that crow, but I think it's specifically, that wake up in the morning and cock-a-doodle-doo or kee-kitty-kee kind of sound. And that's rooster crowing. So, for example, the rooster on our farm crows every morning when the sun comes up.
OK, 这边一样哦，发音要小心，是 crow。O 的声音，好，那这边当作动词用，指的是公鸡啼叫。那 crow 本身也可以当作名词哦，指的就是乌鸦。那再来还有一个动作是 flap，flap 它指的是鸟类，它在振翅的动作。
So it sounds just like a really, really fancy cuckoo clock, but with a rooster clock. So what about the egg itself? The egg is violet in color, and the clock face is made of fancy materials. Ooh. So violet here is this word, it's almost like purple. Violet is like a bluish purple color, like the violet flower. That's what it's named after. So if you ever see something like maybe, a grape or something like purple clothes, those could also be called violet. An example, Diana just colored her hair a deep violet shade. It looks like the night sky. How romantic. Now, we're talking about the clock face, which is the part that the hands are on that you can read. It's made of fancy materials. Probably it's got some ivory or gold or other kinds of metals. Fancy means very expensive and fashionable. I've already said this word a few times because you can't really talk about Fabergé eggs without talking about how fancy they are. So fancy, yeah, it means just really, really pretty, fashionable, and expensive. An example sentence, this singer is known for wearing very fancy clothes at her concerts.
我们刚刚看到的 violet 这个形容词呢，指的是色彩是紫罗兰色的。然后我们说呢，这样子的蛋啊，它是 made of fancy materials. Fancy 刚刚 Katie 也解释过了，代表是装饰繁复的、花俏的，或是很高级的，像是 a fancy hotel 高级的饭店 ，a fancy restaurant 高级的餐厅，也可以用它来形容。
So we've got the first hen, we've got the coronation egg, and then we've got the cockerel egg clock. These are just a few of the imperial eggs that were made. Each one is a masterpiece of art and craftsmanship. A masterpiece is like the best possible kind of work. When you look at it, you say, oh, Nobody else could do this better. That's a masterpiece. And then we have this word craftsmanship. This is a 3-part word. You've got craft or crafts, that's making things, man, person, and ship, which is quality. So it's the quality of being made with great skill. So when something has great craftsmanship, it is made the best it can be.
就是工匠艺术。那再来 masterpiece 这个字就是杰作了，因为 master 指的是大师，好，大师级的作品，作品艺术品这边就用 piece 来代替。
Right. So that's all the time we've got for all these Fabergé eggs. Of course, you can use your imagination and you can research and look up some more. What would they look like? What would they do? That sort of thing. But right now, we're going to go to our For You chat.
You chat.
All right, our For You chat question today is a very creative one. You have to design your own Fabergé egg. Ooh, what does it look like? And what does it do?
Oh, what does it look like? I would make it look like my cat.
Look like your cat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's shaped like an egg, right?
Yes.
But I would draw my cat's face on it. Also his colors, black and white.
Okay.
And maybe put diamonds or jewels on it like his eyes.
Oh,
Nose and mouth.
that's cute.
Uh-huh. Probably it's cute. I'm not sure.
I'm sure it'd be cute.
Yeah. And when you press a button, probably a little cat will come out from the egg.
And does it meow?
Meow. Yeah.
Meow. That's cute. That's adorable. It's a Fabergé egg for your kitty.
Yep.
I think of, I'd want it to be like something really fancy. I think of if I was going to make something in a Taiwanese style, like those Taiwanese tiles that I really like. And it could be made of lapis lazuli, which is this very precious blue stone, really bright blue stone. And it could have gold, and maybe it could have like some kind of pattern. And then on the inside, it could have like a palace.
A palace?
Yeah, a little gold palace.
Like a dollhouse.
Yeah, something like that. It'd be like a palace, and then it would play a beautiful song when you opened it up, and it might turn very slowly, kind of like a music box.
Oh, like a music box. So would there be a queen and a king, or a princess and prince?
I'd say 2 princesses. Because
the princesses come out and dance together.
That's right. So that's our ideas. Maybe you guys can design your own. You could even draw it and maybe try and get somebody to make it for you. I don't know. But we hope you've enjoyed learning about Fabergé eggs with us. For English for You, I'm Kat.
I'm Elsie.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Robe. The king was wearing expensive robes, and when he entered the hall, everyone turned to look at him. Coach. In the old days, people traveled in coaches that were pulled by horses. Press. Once you've typed your message, just press the Enter key to send it. Crow. When the sun rises, the rooster crows loudly to wake up the farm animals. Violet. The violet crayon is perfect for coloring grapes and flowers, but it can also be used to create a beautiful sky. Fancy. This hotel is so fancy. Look at all these beautiful lights and plants in our room.
智慧小补帖
Coronation. Millimeter. Inspire. Flap. Masterpiece.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net